Hi, and welcome to my cooking show. You're wondering if you heard me correctly, because you see that I'm in a hotel room. But you did. This is a cooking show. And my goal is to show you that you can cook quality meals while staying in a hotel room. Who I am is not important, but what I'm doing is. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Hotel Cooking Show. Everyone, and welcome to my show. As always, I've cleaned this bathroom very well in order to prepare my food in it. So today's show I'm excited about. Today we're going to do some fun things. We begin with a small chicken, which I've seasoned already with paprika, salt, and pepper. The reason I did that first is because I was using grinders. It was a two-hand operation and I wanted to cover the whole chicken, and the paprika's in a bag, so it was also a two-handed operation. So I took care of that, and I'm going to add a couple more seasonings now, beginning with curry and garlic powder. I like garlic powder rather than garlic salt because I like to use my own salt, Himalayan pink salt or sea salt, which is healthier than table salt. You'll notice when you're looking for garlic powder and you see the garlic salt next to it, garlic salt is much cheaper. The reason for that is it's mostly salt. Okay, so that's the garlic powder. Now I'm going to put some curry on it. I'm just going to lightly sprinkle it. We're not making curry chicken. We're just adding a little flavor and spice. You'll find that paprika is one of my favorite spices because you'll see that I use it a lot. Okay, so now that we've used all the seasonings, I'm going to go ahead and put this chicken in the rotisserie maker. The spikes in there. Now the bottom part, I like to put the spikes through the tendon. Get in there and spike that chicken so that those legs are held in tight and don't end up flopping around. Okay. Now, one other thing, I'm going to put these wooden kebab sticks through the wing and into the side of the chicken to keep those wings in there nice and tight. This can be tricky. Got that one. Put it through this wing. Right. Now those wings will be held in tight so they don't flop around or get cooked too much because they'll be too close to the element, the heat. Okay. So I'm going to put this chicken in the rotisserie maker. I've been making rotisserie chicken for a long time, and you want to make everybody happy with your cooking. But sometimes you don't get the reviews you want. And my kids would tell me that the grocery store's rotisserie chicken were better than mine. And I was not going to live with that. So what I found out is that the grocery stores cook their rotisserie chickens longer. Not quite overcooked, but a bit drier definitely more cooked. So I went ahead and added 20 minutes to my rotisserie chicken, and then my kids said mine was better. So it's just a matter of how cooked you like it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and cook it like they would like it for about an hour and 15 minutes. And when that's ready, we're going to cook some fun things. But we want to do that after the chicken's ready, so everything will be hot and be able to be served at the same time. Wow, that smells good. Okay, so the cooker just finished. And what I'm going to do is take it out and set it in the other room to give me more space. And also to let it cool for a little while before I try to pull the chicken out and end up burning myself. And while that is cooling, there's a couple other things to prepare. And this is the fun part. So, as you can see here, I have instant mashed potatoes. Some of you will think that you can't make good mashed potatoes with instant mashed potatoes or dried potato buds. I beg to differ. And I've made them before, and people have told me how amazingly good they were, and they didn't know they were instant potatoes when they said that. So I'm going to show you how to make good instant potatoes in a hotel. And we start out with water that I've placed in cups in the microwave, and I'm going to boil that water first. This process needs to happen quickly. Since this boiled water is going to cool fast, I'm going to need to get it done fast. And also, when you add the potatoes to the water, they quickly fluff up, and you can end up with them being too thin or too thick. And so we're going to try to do it just right. And that's what separates good instant potatoes from bad instant potatoes, is getting the right amount mixed quickly. And I've found that you can't really measure it out and make it perfect. You need to pour the instant potatoes into the water and quickly mix it and make it what looks like a little too thick at first. As you mix it, it will end up just right. So I have about 2¼ cups, roughly, of water boiling in the microwave right now. A watched pot never boils. What about a cup of water in the microwave? And that will be boiling soon. Meanwhile, what we're going to add to it after we get it just right in consistency is whipped butter and just a little bit of sour cream. Don't know if many people try sour cream in their mashed potatoes. I find it to be a really good cream to add to them. And it doesn't take much. Come on, sour cream companies. It's the perfect chance to plug your product. And then there's the issue of gravy. And some people like gravy, and some people don't like gravy. No gravy? No gravy? So while we're waiting, I'm going to take this tomato and slice it up. And on the subject of tomatoes, there's another two types of groups, and that's those who like salt and those who like pepper. And I remember a guy in Kentucky once told me that if I just put a bunch of crushed pepper, fresh ground pepper, excuse me, on a tomato and no salt, it would be even better than with salt. And I didn't believe it until I tried it. And I think maybe he was right. But I still put a little bit of salt, even though I put more pepper than salt. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with this tomato. Put some ground pepper on it. And you need a lot to really get the effect I'm talking about. Put a little Himalayan salt, just a dash on each. How about that little shout out to Kentucky? They have really good tomatoes. Okay, I'm gonna check. The water's ready. So I'm going to quickly and carefully pour this boiling water into this bowl. And then start adding the dried potato as I stir to make sure it quickly gets soaked by the water and doesn't get clumped up. And I'm going to do that until it's just a little bit too thick or seems a little too thick. And I think I'm there now. Nope, I think I want a little bit more. Now I'm there. How much did I add? I have no idea. If I had to guess, probably be a little over a cup, but it might have been more. I have to go by consistency rather than exact amounts because of how fast it has to happen. But I think I've got it just right. Make sure all the flakes have soaked up enough water to be reconstituted well. All right. And then while it's still hot, butter needs to be added. And how much of that is also an on-the-fly decision. But I'm adding about 2 tablespoons. But it's whipped butter, so it's not like adding 2 tablespoons of a stick of butter. That would be a lot, considering the small amount of potatoes that I'm making. But I think that was just right on the butter. Next, I'm going to add salt. You'll use a little more Himalayan salt or sea salt than you would table salt, but I don't ever recommend using table salt unless you're trying to speed up the boiling of water. Okay, mix that really good. Salt breaks down. Think those are going to be good. Right. Now we're going to let that cool for a bit while I do some work with the chicken. Okay. Get the parts of this rotisserie maker out. You gotta be careful doing this, not to push the chicken off the plate. I'll take out these kebab sticks and a couple of toothpicks that I added after I initially put the chicken in to keep the wings from touching the element and making it smoked. Okay, this chicken looks pretty good. If I say so myself, let me get that cut in half. And a good knife is very helpful for this process. Okay. Now I'm going to display that with one side up and one side down so you can see what I'm working with. Let me show you this chicken. Like I said, it looks pretty good. Trying not to make you sick with the motion of the camera. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add sour cream to these potatoes. And again, I'm not going to measure perfectly. I'm going to put about 2.5 tablespoons. Whip that up really good. That is going to make these potatoes nice and creamy. And if you do it just right, you won't be able to tell that you started with dried potato flakes. And you can't seem to do it just right, come see me and I'll prove that to you. And add a little more salt. And whip it up one more time. It already tastes pretty good, but I want it just right. You don't just want to make meals, you want to make good meals. Now, And you taste as you go. And that last taste told me that I want some more butter. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add some more butter. About another tablespoon. Plus. We mix that in. And even though I was pretty sure it was going to be just right a moment ago, I'm even more sure now. And that's good. So, pull up my hand one more time. I'm going to clean my whisk. So I can make some gravy. You may scoff at the way I did it, but you have what you have. And I would love to use the grease in that cooker to make some really good gravy. Come on, Team Gravy, help me out. But I don't have a stovetop in this hotel room, so I have to cheat. And what I'm going to do is take the water I already have in another cup, which is about 6 or 7 ounces, because we need somewhat cool water to be able to get the gravy to mix right. And so we're going to have to mix that up first. And you're going to put about 3/4 of a gravy packet in a cup. Mix it up with a whisk. Real good. And then we're going to have to do some microwaving in waves, meaning to heat it over time in the microwave, not all in one shot. And so now I'm ready to do that, because we need to get this water to boiling, but not super fast. I'm going to do that in 20-second intervals. It's like your plyometric workout. Now I believe that our gravy is ready. And it's hot. You could let it cool and it'll thicken. But I'm just going to pour that on there now. Just a little bit. You got to be really careful when you're making this gravy, not to cook it too long. Because the moment it begins to boil, it's going to swell up and overflow onto the microwave plate. So stopping earlier would be better than stopping too late. Okay, let me show you the end result of this meal. This is my rotisserie chicken, mashed potatoes and gravy, and sliced tomato. And I can assure you that I will be enjoying this meal, as it looks and smells so good. Thanks again for watching. hit the like button, subscribe so you can see my next video. Thank you so much. Have a good one.